Last time on Low Budget Binge. Sure, most of the film's cast probably were paid in pizza and beer, and he's not the most good-looking pup in the window. Robinson looks like Sarah Silverman and sounds like Jennifer Tilly, but the priest has lost his mojo. A little creepy, yes. And now, the next death-defying chapter of Low Budget Binge. Welcome back to ML Miller Frights, part of the Kings of Horror Network. I'm ML Miller. Before we dive in, remember to give this video a like, share with your buddies across the World Wide Webs, and click subscribe to this channel, and don't forget to ring that bell for notifications. In these early days, it's crucial to get the word out about the channel to new folks and tame and tease that all-important YouTube algorithm. So please spread the word about the channel. Low Budget Binge is where we venture off the beaten path and look at low budget, no budget, and sometimes even international films that never get that top billing you see in the usual Hollywood fare. Still, I've often found that they have that certain moxie to entertain. I'll indicate in the review and down below where you can find these films along with their trailers. Here we go. Out on demand and digital download from Gravitas Pictures is The Tent, a no-budget film I wanted to like a lot more than I did. A TV survivalist expert finds his skills useful when the world goes ass-end up and tries to survive in the middle of a forest against monsters snarling from the shadows. His organized life is threatened when a young woman shows up needing help. There's much more to the story than that, and it includes quite a big twist towards the end. I found the story interesting, but the main problem with The Tent is that the actors just aren't up to the task of selling the drama they needed to. Because of that, the film just didn't work for me. Filmmaker Kyle Couch has a good story here, and he's able to make some nice suspenseful scenes, as well as some decent drone shot aerials. But the acting just doesn't sell what he's trying to say, though. When you're a Twilight Zone-esque story, don't flat out reference a Twilight Zone episode. That's what they do in Ghosts of War, and I think this would have been a great film without the Twilight Zone twist at the end. Instead, it feels like filmmaker Carrick Bress didn't have enough confidence in his World War II soldiers versus ghosts story, so he decided to try to spice it up with a shockaroo ending. Had this film gone without it, I think I'd have a higher opinion of Ghosts of War. It's got some decent action, some up-and-coming actors who do pretty well here, and some suspenseful scenes of ghostly happenings. It's also got Billy Zane, and that's cool. The concept of American soldiers caught in a haunted house with Nazis outside and spooks inside is a pretty strong one, but the tacked-on Shyamalan-esque ending really soured it for me. Ghosts of War is out now on demand and digital download from Vertical Entertainment. Animal Among Us is new on Tubi this month. Christian Oliver plays Roland, a swanky college professor with everything going for him due to the success of his first book, which is about a savage Bigfoot attack on a campground where he might have embellished his own heroic actions a bit. Struggling with an idea for a follow-up book, Roland is asked to return to the camp to celebrate its reopening. Once there, it seems the Bigfoot is back and ready for another round. Animal Among Us has a lot going for it. There are some good acting moments from the pair of sisters who own the camp, played by Larissa Oleynik and Christine Donlan, and a lot of gory kills to whet the appetite. The problem with Animal Among Us is that it tacks on an ending that just doesn't work centering on Roland's infidelity. It feels like the filmmakers wanted to make a story about a philandering professor, but were paid to make a Bigfoot movie. This makes for an uneven film, with some really strong stuff at the camp with Bigfoot, and what feels like a fumble in the final moments. The Circle is streaming exclusively on the Kings of Horror Network. I was immediately endeared to this film as it opens in Chicago on an occult bookstore that is mere blocks away from my old apartment. This is a found footager about a woman who wants to surprise her husband on his birthday by doing a seance in their new home, a home that used to belong to his grandfather. Once the seance begins, though, an evil spirit attaches itself to the home and weird things start happening. The film consists of 3 seances, and if you're into the occult, you're bound to find these scenes pretty fascinating. If you're not, I'm pretty sure this might not be the film for you, as there is lots of repetition in the seances and the pace is very slow in parts. The acting is actually pretty good across the board, as everyone seems to be acting like they aren't acting. This is a crucial detail in most found footage films, and one that a lot of them get wrong. Everything feels legit with no musical overlays or weird edits that would make the film feel any less authentic. The seance scenes feels pretty legit, but I'm no expert. If you're paying attention to what is said in the seances, you'll get the ending, but it's still pretty vague and leaves a lot of unanswered questions. Still, if the occult interests you, I'm pretty sure this offering is going to be worth your time. The best film of the bunch this week is Game of Death, released on demand and digital download from Cleopatra Entertainment. While I was expecting a cheap knockoff of The Hunt, I got an entirely different horror game altogether. When a bunch of bored millennials find an old game in their closet that looks like a creeped-out version of Simon, the electronic game, they find themselves cursed to take 24 lives every 20 minutes, or one of the 7 kids dies. They don't take the game seriously until one of their heads explodes all over them, and they go on a rampage to murder as many people as possible before dying themselves. Unfolding at a rapid pace, Game of Death is an addictive film that entertained me from start to finish. There are imaginative animated sequences that look like they were swiped from an old Nintendo game. The murders are bloody and many, usually spattering blood and brains all over the murderers and the victims. The entire cast run around the film covered head to toe in blood for pretty much the bulk of the time. Reminiscent of Kids, It Follows, and Funny Games, Game of Death is a tragic snapshot of millennial culture, as these seemingly parentless kids roam the streets looking for someone to murder. It's a sad social commentary on the recklessness of youth, especially in these charged times. Filmmakers Sebastian Landry and Lawrence Moraes Legacy maintain a wicked sense of humor and manage to communicate a resonant and horrifying message about the callousness of youth. I highly recommend you seek this gory gem out immediately. That'll be it for today. Before we go, I want to remind folks that I have a graphic novel trade paperback coming out on September 5th called Grave Trancers. It's a horror series from Black Mass Studios and tells a grindhousey tale of a family of ghouls who own a cemetery and make drugs from the corpses they bury there. A pair of kids show up to find the grave of their estranged father, and all hell breaks loose when they uncover the family's scheme. It's action and gore and perversity of the highest order, so please give it a look. The final order cutoff is August 10th, so please let your comic book shop know you want a copy of Grave Trancers. There will be a link below with more information about Grave Trancers. If you like this video, please pound that thumbs up button. Share this video with your social media addicted pals. If you're looking for written reviews, you can find them on mlmillerwrites.com, and be sure to subscribe to this channel and ring the bell for alerts to be the first to see my future videos. Thanks so much for your time, and take care.
You're doomed to live the life you're meant to be, stuck inside your reality. You're